Hey everybody, this is Tyson.
And Logan.
And you're listening to Dad Bods and Beards podcast. It's a show that gives you a fresh look on being a father, a husband, and honestly, a man being in today's world.
For people who want to have a good time, laugh, and be uplifted, thanks for subscribing and listening. Now for the show.
What up, everyone? Today, we're just talking. We don't have a ton of plan, but we wanted to get an episode out there for you guys because Logan and I really enjoy talking to each other, and we have a fun time. And for some odd reason, a few of you like us are hearing our conversations.
Well, we were just saying that like we plan out episodes. Sometimes we do a little bit more serious ones. Sometimes we do some fun ones, and sometimes some of our best ones are when we just kind of just sit down like, hey man, how you doing? And then we get the, the fart chills in Twilight episode or like the aliens episode. But
yeah, but
no, how was your week, man?
What was it that I sent you guys that, we needed to discuss this topic because that was one of the things that people are searching up on podcasts. I need to take a breath there. What was it that I sent you?
No. Hold on.
Because it was hilarious.
You're talking about with me and Janae. Okay.
Yeah.
Thrift shopping. Apparently that's a hot topic. Thrift shopping.
Yeah, thrift shopping. That's what it was.
You were sending me the analytics of something and you're like, apparently we need to talk about thrift shopping.
And Google translates make haggis is one. Answering your questions about today. Ancient aliens, the Star Children.
Yeah. So shout out to Beard Gang of California. If you guys haven't seen him yet, he's got some pretty cool apparel. He listens religiously now to our podcast, and he was like, dude, I loved the aliens episode. He's like, how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go? Because I've got a great podcast for you. So he sent one to me I'm going to start listening to. But yeah, I mean, ancient aliens, all that kind of stuff. That's always, flat earth, cube earth, all that fun crap.
And then the other ones were Thrift with Me, Fortnite 2, Just Another Boring Morning, Last to Take the Hands Off a Christmas Present. And here's the one that your wife mentioned before that we probably should discuss, but this was a big one that people are looking for is STD prank on husband.
My wife or your wife? What? I was like, when did you talk to my wife about STDs?
I forgot to tell you about your wife and I. We have a weird relationship.
That would be a really that'd be a really scary prank.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, you're terminal.
Yeah.
But no, how's your week
now
been?
we can hit every one of those searchability things because we're talking about it, and so we're going to go viral now.
Oh,
That's how it works.
Plug words. No, now that I've asked you for the third time, I don't think you've heard me. How has your week been, Tyson?
So, anyway, have you? No, I'm joking.
I'm done. Hey, well, it's been great. See you later.
No, my week has been fun.
Busy.
We've gotten a lot of good response or good. How do I put this? We've heard a lot of good things from doctors about our one child that's in a treatment center. That's awesome. Everything's going really well. And from there, we get to go be with that child Saturday for 4 hours.
That's awesome.
We get to take them out and just have an enjoyable time with them. So I'm really excited for that. And then I took Porter today, a 15-year-old boy who he got his learner's permit and he's driving.
Oh, geez.
I was like, everything's sucking up in my body because I'm so nervous.
Your butthole's eating the car seat.
Yeah, seriously. And he takes a turn. He's going like 50 miles an hour. Really, he's probably like going 5, but it feels like 50. And I'm like,
sure.
Dude.
Are you in the truck or are you in the van?
Just a regular Suzuki 1920 or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 1999 Suzuki that it's Isaac's. He left home before he left.
Yeah, dude, that's freaky. I taught my little sisters how to drive. My youngest sisters. They're, I don't know, 8 years younger than me, give or take. And I helped them learn how to drive. And that was like, I took them to a high school parking lot where it was empty, right? So can't get in too much trouble there, but
no, he did a really good job. There was a policeman we drove past, and I'm like, well, right, go the speed limit, and he was, and he did a really good job. I think we went on a 45-mile-an-hour road, and and we passed a few cars, and I'm like, oh, don't swerve, don't.
Dude, that's so funny. So I grew up in like little cow town, like Northern California, like south of Sacramento. And I'd driven all kinds of crap before I got my permit. So when I got into my driver's training after I got my permit and passed the written test, and I went into my, a guy shows up at your house with the car to do the driver's training, and we start driving around, and he's like, "Oh yeah, go here, take here, whatever." And then when he's like, looks at me, he goes, "You already know how to drive." I was like, maybe. And he's like, "All right, let's go hit the freeway." We hit the freeway. I merge, no problem, whatever. We're just cruising. And then he goes, "You've been driving quite a bit before, haven't you?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
He's like, "Can you parallel park?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I do all that. Then he's like, "Well, we're pretty much done here. Do you mind if we run a couple of errands? Because I got you for another 45 minutes." So we go pick up his dry cleaning. We go to the post office. We go through freaking McDonald's drive-thru, and he's like, "You want something?" But yeah, it's safe to say my parents, I didn't have to do all 3 courses. He just signed me off after like a 45-minute ride around. He's like, "Yeah, he's good."
That's cool. But what about you? How was your week?
It was good. We hit a milestone this week, man. We bought a minivan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Welcome to adulthood.
I am not upset about it at all.
Right?
I freaking love it. I wish I would have listened to my wife 5 years ago when she asked for one. Mind you, we only have 2 kids, right? And no, Chelsea is not pregnant. Like everybody, that's everyone's follow-up question. Like, "Oh, we bought a minivan."
With twins.
No, we have no babies on the way. But dude, we bought a Toyota Sienna, and I'm like, okay, if we're buying a minivan, I'm picking it. So I picked like all blacked out, black leather sport package, like the 20-inch wheels. Like it looks really clean. But dude, my truck has sat parked in the driveway all weekend. I've been like, gotta go to Home Depot, taking the van. Gotta go to Walmart, taking the van. Like, dude, I'm cruising around in that thing. I feel super cool. I'm like, we're getting 20 miles per gallon. It rides like a Mercedes, and it's just way more affordable than her Ford Explorer that was like blowing up every other month.
You know what the best thing about getting a van when you have kids is the screen that they can watch a movie and they don't fight.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, this is heaven. Because when I have 6 kids and they're all in the back and they're like, nope, turn the screen on. What do you guys want to watch? And we'll pull out a DVD and you're watching Cars 2 or whatever it is, which is the worst Cars. I don't know why, but they're just watching and they're not fighting anymore. It's so nice.
Dude, you know what's one of the things that I love the most? I didn't realize it just because obviously I drive a lifted F-350 and I climb up into it every day.
Uh-huh.
You just like step into the minivan. You don't step down, you don't step up. You just kind of like scoot your butt to the side and you're in it. And I'm like, I get why every like old retired like empty nesters, grandma and grandpa, why they like minivans. Because and when you're driving, I noticed as we were driving around today and I look over at my wife and she's like sitting upright and I'm like the perfect posture. I'm like, this van is like ergonomic. I'm like, your feet aren't stretched out, your legs aren't falling asleep, and I'm like, I'm literally driving in like a perfect posture right now. And I'm like, well, someone better get me some cargo shorts and some New Balances because I am here.
So, do they have the air conditioning seats?
Oh yeah, we got air conditioned seats. We got the heated seats. We got
the air conditioning seats are like you get out and you're like, my back's not all sweaty. I'm not embarrassed to hug someone.
Well, because that was my fear is like it's all black. I normally only buy white vehicles. Like everyone, like I've only ever bought white vehicles, and now we bought this black one because it looked really good, and I got a screaming deal on it. But it's all black leather, and so the last couple of days, I'm like, man, this thing is freaking toasty. Like when we get into it, so I'm gonna go get it all the tint, a little bit darker. Here in Utah, you can get the front windows tinted, and I like to do all that. But yeah, it's got all the bells and whistles. I love it already. I'm like, I'm like talking to guys at work, at the construction company. I'm like, yeah, we bought a van, no big deal. Like it's pretty cool. Here, you want to see a picture? Like, like it's a new baby in our family.
Yeah.
But no, man, we love it. I wish I would have listened to my wife. Now that's
that's usually the case. A lot of people are hesitant to buy a new vehicle, especially something that they've never done, and then all of a sudden you get the van, you're like, this is nice. I enjoy this. And then you're like, we can make a road trip to California right now, go to Disneyland, and it's okay.
Yeah, because we might go to California to visit family for Christmas, and I'm like, I'm like, well, we'll probably take the truck because we'll go over, over the mountains and, out of Nevada into California. But I'm like, yeah, but the van would be so cushy. But no, man, they say you should never test drive a minivan because then you want one. Because dude, the minute I test drove one a week and a half ago, I was like, oh, we're getting one. I love this thing.
See, that's how I am with my truck. I have an old school truck and I tried a new one. I'm like, oh, one day. Yeah. Because I drive an F-250 1990, and I love this truck. I love it to death, and I'm never going to sell it. It's always going to be a part. But then you drive something that's brand new, and you're just like, okay,
yeah,
this is nice.
Well, my F-350, I don't pay for it, or I probably couldn't pay for that thing. That's a company truck. That thing is way outside my budget, but I do love it. But so I gotta drop a bomb on you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna shave.
Shut up. Wait, what? I'm all mad. I'm like, wait.
Not anytime soon.
Yeah, but what are you talking about?
Okay, so we all know. So we're at like 11 months today since I shaved it off at the barbershop. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
So September 26th will be exactly a year that I grew it out, and I promised updates that I never did past like 3 weeks.
I think you had like 2 or 3 months.
Nice big update. But I found out today that Locks of Love will accept beard hair as long as it is over 10 inches long. So obviously I still got some distance to go. We're talking probably another year. But I think what I want to do is I want to do that. Is I want to like grow my beard out to the right length and then cut it off and just do that. Because I've never been the guy that could grow my hair out. Like obviously I have pretty good hair on top of my head I could do it with too. But I was looking it up. Came across some stuff and I'm like, oh, Locks of Love does actually take beard hair. And so as long as it's over 10 inches long, and I'm like, I feel like that would be a good cause for
I can't fault you on that.
But dude,
I can't fault you.
Think of all the good freaking content we could get. The last time I did this, we both blew up.
No, but but I told you what I want.
What?
So I've lost 40 pounds so far.
Yes.
A little more than 40 pounds. And when I get down to basically if I lose 50 more pounds, I'll be about 260 and I'll feel very comfortable. And I think I'm going to completely shave and then do a regrowth, just to regrowth. So basically, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to drink all this water. I'm going to take all the vitamins and minerals that I absolutely need to in order to maintain a healthy body. I'm going to continue working out. I'm going to make sure my sleep is on point. And then I'm going to grow my beard and do a weekly updates and just show everyone, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm doing it. And just so that people understand what's going on. And plus, I haven't seen my face I don't remember last time I saw my face.
Yeah.
Maybe 2018. So 5 years.
Really?
Yeah. So I think I'm going to do that too, but yours is a little bit more better than mine.
Well, I just was kind of like, because I got asked today at church, like, oh, how long are you going to grow it this time? Because a lot of them saw that I shaved it off, right? And I was like, I don't know. And I was just kind of looking around on the internet or whatever. And someone was like, oh, yeah, you should donate to Locks of Love. And I was like, I don't think they take beard hair. And then I just piqued my interest. I'm sitting there, should be listening in church. So I'm like Googling this. Does Locks of Love take beard hair? And then it was like, yes. And I'm like, oh, holy crap. There's obviously.
What do they use with it?
So they obviously, I think they would like condition the crap out of it to make it not so coarse, but they will make children's wigs out of it.
Oh.
So it's like that much more incentive to just keep up with the health. Like, I mean, you've seen it. My beard is a very soft beard hair.
It is.
Like, obviously, and I will quick plug for you, Sweetwater conditioner, no doubt.
Yeah, it
when
is.
I started using that thing religiously, like the beard oil, beard butter, obvious given, makes a huge difference. But like, I could almost get away without having to use either one of those fresh out of a shower using that because, dude, it is just soft as a freaking like face pillow, if that's a thing. But still,
it is.
So yeah, anybody listening?
So how long are you right now?
My beard?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Of course your beard.
I was waiting to see if you caught that. Well, I mean, I have lost some weight, and
from an inch to inch and a quarter.
If you do the and canceled.
Yeah.
If you do the official measurement, right, like the beard competition measurement, bottom of the lip to the bottom of the longest hair off the chin, I think I'm right at like 6.5 to 7 inches. Mind you, we did trim about a half an inch off my beard a couple months ago, right?
But they're not going to go off of that. They're going to actually have to
No.
go off of the actual length.
Yeah, they're going to go from. So what I'll probably have to grow it to about at least 12 inches because you got to think that there's all the different hair. So that's all. Like I said, I probably got another 8 months to a year before it gets to that point. But, and then we're not this coming. So this coming Friday, I'll be at the barbershop for a haircut, but then I'll have to come back again at the year mark so we can get like a nice clean beard trim.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm excited we're going to do a live on that, and then we're also going to make a few TikToks again. So it's kind of fun. Everyone seems to like our TikToks when we do them together.
Yeah, you and I had a couple that did pretty dang good there. And I've had a few people being like, when are you enticing it? Because there was a stint there where I was up at the barbershop like every 3 or 4 weeks. And
it was
after Vegas, we've both been so freaking busy. Like I still have all the Vegas like convention booth stuff.
You do. I was wondering. I should get that.
I know. No, I'll bring it up on Friday. But no, it's been it's so busy. Like life, I feel like life is just getting crazy busy and just go. Like we talked about last week with kids in school. My wife is starting to like substitute teach. And so it's just everything is
now. And now that your wife is expecting again,
shut up.
There's a lot more you got to get done to get baby proof in the house. And
no, we are not expecting. Oh man, that's funny.
No, so my brother, so I'm let's see, I'm about 15 years older than my younger brother, and he just had a baby, and I was holding him and just loving the kid. Is just such a cute kid, and I absolutely love him. And okay, I'm like, okay, I'm done giving him back to him. And my brother, and I'm like, and I turned to Candace, I'm like, I love that child. So glad it's not ours. I'm so done with that point in my life right now, because if Candace was to get pregnant, I would love the kid, but I would be crying in despair deep inside. Like it's like, no, not again.
Yeah, I mean, I could. Yeah. I mean, I'm 33. I mean, we could still pop out another kid, like, and I could totally be good with it.
I was 34 when Hattie was born.
What?
I was 34 when my last one was born.
Yeah. So like I could, like, I don't know what TikTok is on right now. I'm apparently on Baby Talk, like all the giggles and like the funny stuff. Like I sent them to my wife and I'm just kind of like, what am I doing? Like, but no, man. Yeah. It's, and then you look back at, old videos on your phone of your kids when they were toddlers and when they were,
and then you're like,
oh, they were really freaking cute.
Uh-huh.
And then you're like, yeah, we never slept.
And then you're like, oh man, I just wish I could hang out with them more and all that. And then they wake up and you're like, nope, we're done. You just go.
And then the 7-year-old has just the attitude from hell, and you're just like, what did we do? What did we do? I looked at you wrong. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and then like a porter came and he was talking to me, and then someone came, one of his friends, and not his friends, but like a parent came over and just complimented how nice Porter is and how responsible and how kind he is to his friends and all this. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I look at Porter, I'm like, why don't you ever do that to us?
Seriously, we get that all the time. People are like, my daughter, she's like, oh, she's so sweet, like from her teachers and friends, and then we come home, she comes here and she is just. She's a sweetheart. I love her to death, but she gets that. She gets it from me. Just the big emotions. We talked about that. And it's just kind of like, why? This is my daughter's saving grace. My wife and I were just talking about this. She is so polite. When she's in a good mood, she is a thank you. She is, I love you. She will come back after like a heightened situation where she was getting in, kind of corrected, a little bit. She was in a little bit of trouble. She'll come back and she'll say, I'm sorry that I was being mean, but this happened today and it made me really mad for the rest of the day. You're like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I love you, baby. Come here.
I can't even believe I was mad.
You're such a sweetheart. I love you. I'm so sorry I'm mad. Do you want a cookie? I know it's midnight. But, oh, man.
No, I swear the kids know how to manipulate me too. It's just like, they like, I'll go grocery shopping and and try to help it out, and just like, hey Candace, what do you need for me to get? And I'll go real quick, and kids will come with me, but they won't go with her because they know for a fact mom won't get anything, but I will.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you little brats.
Well, and then my wife will text me, do not get them anything extra. I don't know what it was. We were on our way home and now we got a Happy Meal. It's like, I didn't do it on purpose. It just happened.
It's true though. Like, why did you get this treat? Because they asked, and she's cute.
See, well, my daughter she'll like manipulate me. She'll be like, so I've taken her to Walmart a few times and she's been like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. So I'll like over in like the kind of like fruit section, or like where they've got, the strawberries and the grapes or whatever, like in a little cooled, they have these little mini, almost like kids Lunchables, but they're like healthier snacks. They have like Mickey Mouse and Paw Patrol and whatever. And it's like yogurt covered raisins and like crackers and some cheese and some nuts. And I've grabbed her one of those before, right? And then you can like pop it open and she can eat it while we're shopping. And then we just buy the empty container at the end.
Yeah.
So we'll be like shopping and she'll see him. She's like, hey Dad, it was really fun that one time that you got me that snack thing. She's like, I really liked it. And I'm like, shut up. Next thing you know, she's eating one. And I'm like, dang, I lost that battle.
It's so true though.
Yeah. But I'll do that to my wife. We'll be driving. I'll be like, hey, babe, it was really cool that one time that we got Wendy's and you were cool with it. She's like, shut up, you're on a diet. I'm like, dang.
No, but really, Porter's like, Dad, it was so much fun going to a movie. It would be so cool if we got to go see a movie. And that's why we went to a movie last night, because he really wanted to. And he wanted to hang out with Dad. I'm like,
I didn't say no to that.
I know. He's 15. He's in high school now, and he wants to still hang out with his dad. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
I was going to say, just give another year or two, and he's just going to think that you're lame.
I don't know. Isaac never thought I was lame, to my face, at least. I hope my kids are always good and they want to hang out with us. But we were kids once. We know how it is.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
if a girl gave me any sort of attention, I'm like, nope. See you, Mom. See you, Dad.
Yeah. Dude, that's a story I could tell you. So I was 17, right, and I had this pretty serious girlfriend. First girlfriend I ever had, mind you, and we had been dating for almost a year at this point. And my parents' rule was like, if I didn't do my homework, if I didn't go to school or something like that, that I couldn't go to my girlfriend's house that night. And I had a pretty strict curfew, like 10 o'clock on school nights.
Oh, wow.
And then I think like 11 or 12 on the weekends. Well, I think I didn't go to school that day, but I had every intention of going to my girlfriend's house. I didn't have my own car at the time, so I still had my parents' car. And my mom was like, no. And my dad, and we ended up getting this big argument. And my dad is a very patient guy, but I was a very hot-headed. Like, imagine Logan at 17, like figuring out testosterone, beard starting to grow. Like, I'm just like fired up, right? I like headbutted my dad in the nose.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude, it was bad. So I ended up taking off in the car anyways, and I get a phone call like, you turn around now. So I turned around and we had a talk. But
well, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so your kids are doing just fine.
And you look at you turned out amazing too. So
yeah.
Just because our kids might make a mistake, it doesn't mean that they're horrible children by any means. And so we always, like, I was doing a post today and I didn't know if I should do it or not, and I didn't. But it was about like how we all go through struggles in our life. And it has nothing to do with Copper Johns. It's just been on my mind just because of my one child, and I'm like, guys, we make mistakes. We go through trials. We go through heartache. We go through pain. But if you're courageous and you just keep moving forward and the things that you're done and you try to, what would you say, better yourself, or take accountability of your mistakes, and you keep moving forward, I mean, it's just going to make you more strong. It's going to make you better. It's going to give you more empathy towards those who are making those mistakes. And I wanted to create that post, and I didn't know how to put it necessarily, but that's how I feel with me, is like, I've gone through so much.
Yeah.
Especially these 3 years with Copper Johns, that I have so much more empathy towards those who are struggling, those who need help financially, all that kind of stuff. And so hopefully one day I can be that person to help them. That's my goal. but it's just like it gives me a lot more empathy for those who have made those dumb mistakes, like headbutting your dad, because it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that you did a boneheaded mistake, and so
I really wanted
as you can tell, it's been on my mind. It really has. I'm like, just because I don't know. I just worry sometimes that I'm not being the best parent or best person, and I'm just like, hey,
I'd say from the outsider's perspective, you're doing pretty dang good.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, though.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Well, it's like that post yesterday, like that I made about walking out of Walmart. Like I've got a pretty thick skin now. Like I didn't used to. I used to pretend that I had a thick skin, but I was obviously really struggling.
Mm-hmm.
But like it was just one of those. It was one of those couples that they're a little bit older, and probably that's probably not even the meanest thing they probably said out loud. But it's probably one of those things that they think out loud and they probably shouldn't.
Oh yeah.
So like I'm walking out of Walmart and they're just like, "Ew, look at his beard. It's way too long." And I'm like, I looked at him and I was like, "Thanks." And they like looked at me like, "Oh my gosh, you heard that?" I'm like, "Yeah, you said it out loud." Like, is your internal monologue broken and your mouth just says it? Like, but it dawned on. I mean, that wasn't that bad of like an insult, but it just was kind of like. I mean, like we're going to talk about on one of our Ask an Experts, like just like body shaming and things like that. Like I try to be with what I went through with mental health battles and stuff like that changed my outlook and my perspective on like just everyone's life in general is so different from the next that I'm just like you can't can't judge someone else's life based on your own. So in the nicest way possible, shut your mouth. Like, what is it like from Bambi, the little rabbit? If you don't got nothing nice to say, you don't say nothing at all. Like Thumper, right? But that's what it is. I mean, sometimes people need correcting. Sometimes people need to say stuff. Like I'm the dad that sits out on my front lawn and yells at people for speeding through my neighborhood. Like I've become that guy.
But you're
but
kind
at the
of
same time, like dude, you saw when you picked me up that, or when you got dropped off, so we go to Vegas. Like it's my point being is like there's times to say things to people that they deserve to be heard, and then there's times you should just shut your mouth because you're just gonna tear someone down for no good reason. So, or like I say, some people have never been punched in the mouth, and it shows.
It's unfortunate that people have to be cruel sometimes and not realize that they're being cruel. We're not on they're like something that you would say on social media. Like people don't have a filter on social media, and that's like some of the posts. Like I'll post something, and some of the things that they say, I'm like, dude, if I didn't have self-esteem, this would destroy me.
Dude, 100%.
And I'm just like, but it makes me laugh now, just because I'm like, why? What? But it's a thing, and people do get torn down, and it does affect some of my children, as you know, and what they're being told and what they see online and all that kind of stuff. So it can be dangerous if we're continually around that negativity.
Which on the flip side of that too is I have met some of the coolest people through social media because like you reap what you sow, right? Like that positive, like that, like just what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like that addictive positivity that some people have, not like overly positive. That's just kind of like, whoa, gross. You need to stop. But like,
not Richard like Simmons.
Genuine, yeah. Or what is it? Bob Ross. Everything's just a happy little tree. Like, but no, just like the addictive personalities of like people who are, just super genuine, super uplifting, and sometimes it's those people that are struggling the most because they're trying to build up other people because they don't feel good about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to pay attention to that. I try to. I'm not very good, and I could probably pay better attention inside my own home to things like that. But I know we've kind of gone all over the place back and forth with just like dumb stories, but like this is kind of where.
But I do have something to ask you. What do you think? Yeah. You were talking about just some people are trying to fake it. What is your thoughts on people who say fake it before you make it?
I think that has good application sometimes, and sometimes I think it's ill placed. Does that make sense?
It does.
So like maybe fake it till you make it on something that you're trying to improve on, right? Like maybe
you've been hanging out with me too long.
Who learned you how to spoke? No, but like I think fake it till you make it in some aspects of you're trying to improve at, something physical like at, the gym, working out, sports, things like that, right? Or even like when I first got into the sales industry years ago, which I'm thankfully not in anymore, was like faking the confidence that you kind of know what you're talking about can be a plus and a negative because you can like flat out lie to somebody to get the sale because you're faking it till you make it.
Yeah.
So I think it's based on the application. I will say in an aspect of like if you're trying to be positive and you're trying to be more like full of gratitude, if you're trying to be more like disciplined, that 100% fake it till you make it will yield the results that you're wanting to get. Because when I was having a really hard time, I went on a mission for my church at the time, and I was struggling. I went to Canada, first time outside of the country. I was
Well,
19.
that's why I'm just joking. Everyone who's
Yeah,
listening from Canada, I'm chosen.
I love
I'm chosen.
Canada. I love Canadians. But anyways, I was struggling. I was homesick, whatever. And I remember emailing my dad and being like, I'm done. I want to come home. And he said, you can look in the room and you can find 100 things wrong, or you can look in the room and you can find 100 things right. He's like, whichever one you pay the most attention to is what you are going to lead with. And that stuck with me. And obviously there's a million different renditions of that, of like there, everyone is full, everyone has a good wolf and a bad wolf. Whichever wolf you feed is the one that's going to lead the way. If you're in negativity, positivity, like it's, so I think that is a fake it till you make it scenario 100%. I'm trying to do that right now with, I think that's what 75 hard did for both of us, is it literally forced us to fake the what's the word I'm looking for? The discipline. Because we wouldn't have gotten overweight and unhealthy if we had discipline already. So we were faking the discipline by forcing ourselves to hit these daily goals. And now, even though I'm not currently doing 75 hard anymore because I missed a couple of things on the next phase, I'm still disciplined enough that I'm still on my diet. I'm still going to the gym. I'm still drinking a gallon of water. So it's forced me to have that discipline, and I faked it till I made it. The same thing with you. So we don't need this super hard nosed coaching program to keep us on the path. But had I not faked it, I wouldn't have made it. Does that make sense?
It does.
So I think it's give and take. Some situations it's good. Some situations I think it's not the right approach.
Okay. What about happiness and faking that?
Ooh,
I'm going deep. We weren't planning on going deep, but
bro.
this is where I've been like this whole week. Like we've been talking. I'm like, my mind has just been on making sure that my kids are happy and me happy, because I vent. I wouldn't say vent is not the right word. I express my concerns, because venting is like, I'm mad and all this. I'm never mad.
Sure.
It's more of I tell you, hey, I'm struggling and this is why I'm struggling, and I tell you why.
Yeah.
And so is there a time where is it toxic if you are faking happiness or faking that you're happy when you're actually not? Fake it before you make it. Faking being happy when you're not.
So that I'd say can be a very, just speaking from personal experience, I think faking happiness can be very dangerous, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think it applies to like faking happiness for your wife and children sometimes, until like maybe you can sit down later with your wife so you can explain what you're going through, or another significant other or a friend or whatever. But I think overall faking happiness, like that's what I did for years when I was literally suicidal. I was faking my happiness.
Yeah.
Like nobody knew I was literally taking my lunch breaks, crying in my car every day to get the big feelings out so that I could go fake that I was just happy go lucky Logan, right? So I
Absolutely.
think that's one where I think that's an emotion, right? I don't think you should fake your emotions. Like I think gratitude, discipline, things like that are more like, outward expressions of some of your emotions, or their actions, like you are being
Mm-hmm.
grateful or you are being disciplined. But like happiness is something that like, it's like telling a kid, like I'm guilty of this, telling my kid like, calm down, stop crying, like like that's just what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And I think we've progressed as a society that like just telling someone to like shut up, or not listening to their feelings, is we've recognized is pretty dangerous and can be detrimental, especially to like
Mm-hmm.
kids. But speaking from my experience, it's like nobody knew I was struggling because I faked being happy so damn well that it got dangerous. It got, I mean, to when my bipolar really started rearing its ugly head, everyone was like, "What is going on?" Like, I mean, look at Robin Williams, dude. He was the freaking happiest guy anybody. I mean, he was Mr. freaking Disney, like the voices of the
Yeah.
genie. He was Mrs. Doubtfire. Like he was so many like Jumanji. He was so many freaking like pinnacle roles in all of our like childhoods and adolescence and stuff,
Mhm.
and then to come to find out when we're all adults that like he has not been happy this whole time. So I think that's an emotion you got to pay attention to, that if you can't find happiness, or like, I mean, there's situational depression, things based off trauma, things, seasonal depression, things like that. But if you can't find happiness in anything, that's when I think it's time to talk to a professional. If that Does that make sense?
See, and I actually think even if you feel like you're okay, I'm a huge proponent of therapy, because
Oh
there's
yeah.
always things that you can get off your back and off your shoulders and talk to people about. But here's the thing: is there comes a point where everyone talks about toxic masculinity but then you tell your feelings, and then all of a sudden people are judging you, and you feel like they're judging you, so you hold back, and so it's one way where people are all chiming in, like, men need to express their feelings. Then when you do that, they're judging you and all this kind of stuff. And so it's like, what is what, and what are you supposed to do? And I just found that I'm just, to be honest with people.
Yeah.
And like, I'm a happy person 99.99% of the time. But the stress of what I do is sometimes gets to me. And when things don't happen, like this past weekend that I told you about, some things didn't happen like I was really, really hoping would happen. It hit me. And it's, so there's certain situations, but I'm just talking about, there are some family struggles, and everyone's family has struggles, and everyone, there's not one single person that doesn't have a struggle in their life. So I liked how it's a matter of perspective, like your dad said. You can look at everything that's wrong or everything that is right. And so being grateful is one of the biggest things that I've noticed that changes my attitude. Like, I am grateful for this. I really am. I'm grateful for my children, all this kind of stuff. And that has changed my outlook. But I was just wondering what your thoughts were on fake it before you make it, because you brought it up, and about happiness, because it seems like men nowadays aren't necessarily as happy as they used to be. And because I think the role of a man is continually changes, and there's a lot of confusion, because all of a sudden you have to be a provider. Now you don't be a provider. You have to do this. Then you have to do this, and you're just like, what the freak?
Oh yeah.
That's how I feel. I feel like things continually change, and we keep getting attacked as men.
Yeah.
And it's just on social media. Like, if you were to talk to my neighbor, we're not like, no one's like physically attacking us or in person or verbally attacking us, but it just seems like online and through the news, and we're just getting kind of attacked as being a man. So I was just wondering your thoughts are.
Well, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be. I mean, oh, dude, I love listening to Joe Rogan. What's that thing he said one time? I know it's not his quote. He said, I'd rather be a warrior in a garden instead of a gardener in a war.
Yeah.
Kind of like you need to be like, I kind of love this quote, right? Like, you need to be, I'm going to butcher the quote, but just, it's more so the thought. Like, you need to be a guy that is kind-hearted, understanding, patience, loving, strong, but able to be a monster when the time arises.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's a Jordan quote.
Yeah.
Is that Jordan what you
Peterson,
said? Jordan Peterson.
I love that guy. But that's what I mean, that's why I try to approach everything situational, right? Like, so I think that, like, it's important to pay attention to your feelings. Like, if you're not feeling happy, not everything is a depressive state. Like, that's a natural human emotion. Like, I am not happy with this situation. This happened. I think it's your body, your mind, your emotions, your spirit, whatever you want to call it, telling you like, hey, we need to process this, which means we need to sit here and figure out, what are we to learn from this? Or what am I supposed to grow from this? What am I supposed to do with this? Because I think for so long, it was just kind of like men just like, shove it down. We don't talk about our feelings. So my whole perspective on this is, I think it's important to talk about those emotions with the people that you care about. And I think by doing that, you can find out who your inner circle is real quick.
Yes, 100%.
So if you talk to people about there's a fine line. I mean, if you're the friend that's always complaining, that could be really taxing. Not that I'm saying you are a friend that's always complaining. I'm saying that like we've all had and I hung up on you. I can't believe what Logan said to me tonight on the podcast. But I'm saying of like, I think you can find out real quick of like people who genuinely are in your corner when you open up to them. So it's like a scary road of kind of like, do I want to dip my toe in this water and talk to so-and-so about this? Because I've had situations where I overshared with people that I thought I could, and it bit me hard.
Yeah.
So I think everything is like, you are the captain of your ship. You got to learn how to pay attention to your emotions and your feelings and who to share those with. And the minute a red flag pops up with certain people, like remember that one, because you might not want to share something with that person down the road because this happens. Or you might, in our situation, like, well, I just found one of the best friends I think I'm ever going to have because we connected on TikTok a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now you and I talk about like literally like I've complained to you about stuff. You've complained to me about stuff. And we're both like, go to the gym, work it out, like get those emotions out. Like, and we've both been like, man, I'm glad I did that. Like, thanks for telling me, like, blah, 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 blah. Like, so dude, I wish I was as like intelligent as some of these like big influencers in like the men's community, like like Jordan Peterson and some of these other guys that are pretty universal. Like they're not political, more so kind of like universal good advice, because like I feel like men just really need to start listening to their feelings and not in like I don't know how a better way to say this, of like being looked at as a wuss. Because it's like I look at a guy who's emotionally strong, and that to me is more masculine than somebody who's like, oh, I'm not gonna do that. That's freaking, that's for wusses. I'm putting the PT spin on this. What?
That's the same people who say beard oil is not for me because that's for women. You're like, what? Taking care of yourself is feminine? I'm like, okay, I'm feminine then. Like taking care of yourself is universal, feminine and masculine. Like you want to present yourself well.
Dude, I got no shame. Like someone has asked me the number of guys at church I've gotten to grow their beard out. And their wives probably hate me. They were like, oh, so do you use like beard oil? And it's kind of like, you just opened Pandora's box. Do I use beard oil? I use beard oil, beard butter, mustache wax. I use beard wash. I have charcoal wash. I have a Sweetwater conditioner. I have my own blow dryer. I have my own straightener. I have my own. They're like, oh my gosh. Honey, you're not allowed to talk to Logan anymore.
No, but to go off what you were just saying, like I thought I had some close friends. I really, really did.
Sure.
And I would say something about, hey, guess what? Something really good news. And they're like, oh. And then they would start talking about their stuff. And so they weren't my cheerleaders. And I'm trying to be their cheerleaders and that type of thing. And then so I've learned really close. I'm like, okay, they don't care.
Yeah.
It's all about either money or them and all that kind of stuff. And they're still friends. It's just is what it is. And then there's people like you and a few others where we can talk about anything and we're going to back each other up no matter what. And those friends are very rare. Like I said, I hadn't had a friend like that since high school, and I'm 43. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, just randomly we connected, and it's like
there's this dude on TikTok that I really like.
No, but it's true. I haven't had that since high school, and besides my wife, me and her tell each other everything. Yeah. But sometimes you just want someone that's your friend that's not your wife, that you can not tell her all your stresses in your life. Like, I don't know how I'm going to make this bill.
I'm not going to check out that weird mole on your butt. That's for your wife to do. But
you already did.
No. Well, you got to stop making claims over the freaking. But no, I'm right there with you, because like I would say in the best friend category, I've only got two of you. I've got my friend Jonathan, that we have been friends since 4. He literally kicked me in the back when he was sitting behind me in class because he wanted to be my friend. Like when we were at church, when we were little kids. And then we've literally been friends ever since. He lives here in Utah too now. We grew up in California together. We have completely different lives, and every now and then we meet up for lunch, and just because we've been friends since we were literally babies.
Yeah.
And it's like we didn't skip a beat. And he's somebody that he has called me in his darkest times. I've called him in my darkest times. He's literally been there through everything. Like one of my best men at my wedding, whatever. And then there's you that slipped into that same category very, very quickly because
Yeah,
you
right.
and I have so many different things that we like on the same page about. So I think it's important for men, now that we've kind of gotten on this topic, right? Is I think it's important for men to find another genuine connection with another dude.
Their person.
There, you need to find your male lobster. Please tell me you got that reference.
I did, but I thought it was hilarious.
No, it's Friends, dude. The show Friends.
Yeah, but I don't remember Mel Lobster.
You know Phoebe, the kind of doofy blonde one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
She says it's about lobsters, like mate for life, whatever. This got weird. but no, like I think it's important for guys to have buddies. You know what I mean? Because you got to be one way for your family, no matter what your family looks like. And we're going to talk. We were going to set to talk about that tonight, but we're going to save that for another one. Just the different ways that families can be set up. I think it's important for men to be what we need to be for our families, but at the same time, I think it's important that you have other relationships, like appropriate relationships out there to like still be able to be yourself, still be able to be like a kid at heart and like have fun. And like we both have said, like, I think I'm a better person getting to know you. Like we get to like, we talk about, fart chills and Twilight. And then we also talk about really deep stuff.
Yeah, well, it's just like that. Like I can talk to my wife about all this, but it's different. Like her and I, best friends, all that kind of stuff. But it's just like she didn't grow up a guy playing football. She didn't know what it's like. She doesn't know what a huddle is. She doesn't know the camaraderie that you can build. However, she has wonderful friends that are females that I don't ever know what that's like.
Dude,
and
have you ever seen a female text thread?
No. Here's the thing: is Candace said, check this out. I've never looked at Candace's phone for 22 years.
Sure.
20. How long have I been married? 20 years?
I don't know. 20. I don't know.
I think I'll be 21 in a couple of months. So we've been together over 21 years, and I've never just looked at her phone. So no, I don't. I hear her chimes all the time. I'm like, what the freak? Just turn it on vibrate. It's like 11 o'clock at night.
But no, like, dude, like I'm not gonna out my wife, but like her and her girlfriends or her and her sisters talk about, I'm gonna like, you're worse than guys. But no, I think kind of obviously the vibe of this episode has kind of gone to is just, I think it's just typical to what our podcast is. It's just like stuff that guys need to hear, that it's okay. One, it's okay to not be okay. Two, like it's okay to talk about your feelings. It's okay to find somebody that you can jive with so that you can get to a better health. Health is more than just physical health. I literally, like, health starts in your brain, because if your brain's sick, like it messes up so many different things. And it doesn't have to be a clinical sickness. I mean, you can be like, just, you're just really down in the dumps. This economy freaking sucks. Like everything is so hard right now. And I mean, I've seen some of the strongest guys I know are struggling right now because businesses are hard to keep up if you're a smaller business with the economy. So I think the thing to take away from this is like, fake it till you make it, unless it's something that you really need to get some help on, or you really need to start like getting some advice from a mentor or someone that you really trust, because we're all better when we're better, if that makes sense. That's kind of corny to say, but like, I feel so much better now. But if I could not see where I'm at today 7.5, 8 years ago, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's no way I could have seen myself in this point, because I was in this perpetual state of fight or flight. And it's not a way to live. It's seriously exhausting. So.
And one other thing that I would add is you are normal. I hear this a lot is, I wish I was normal. I'm like, what's normal? You are normal. And just because you're sad or just because you're going through this issue does not make it that you're not normal. You are normal, and what you're going through is normal. Yeah. And I promise you are okay, and you can get through this. And that's one thing that I've noticed that I used to say is, I wish I was normal. I wish I didn't feel this way. And I've come to the conclusion that I am normal. I am going through certain situations in my life, and it's okay. and it's okay to feel down sometimes. It's okay to be happy sometimes. We're all normal, and it's okay.
Well, and I think maybe we can round it out with this. But have you ever heard the story of the guy that jumped off of the Golden Gate Bridge to commit suicide, and he actually lived?
I think you've told me it before.
Yeah. So he I can't remember. He was pretty young, but I was listening to a podcast where he was talking about it, and then I end up seeing the clip later on Instagram. But he jumped. I can't remember how high, but we all know how high the Golden Gate Bridge is. And then hitting concrete at 75 miles or hitting water at 75 miles an hour is like hitting concrete. Mm-hmm. But he said he was so sure in that moment, yada, 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 that he was done. And he jumps. And he said the minute he hit the water and he went down like 70 feet underwater. And he obviously fractured a bunch of bones, and like a couple of vertebrae were like obliterated. And he said that he was swimming pretty much without his legs because his legs weren't working at the moment. And he said, all I wanted to do in that moment was live. I was so sure that I was done. But then the minute I was hit with a survival moment, he's like, all I wanted to do was live. And I instantly regretted jumping. So I think that we get trapped in these moments of like, we are stuck in that moment and it is so hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But that as humans, whatever theology or religion or like, conspiracies you subscribe to, at the end of the day, we're all fighting our own freaking battles. And I think at the end of the day, though, the whole point of this life is to live it to the best of our ability and to be as happy as we can and to thrive as best as we can. And some people are at different parts in the race. And I don't think anybody is winning and anybody's losing. We're all just at different points on the track. And like, you'll get through it, but you got to try. And if you're ready to give up, don't. I hate to say that, but like, I've been there. I was ready and I didn't, because I found my reason to stay. So I think that, message me if you're at that point. I will happily talk to you as long as I need to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So stop being so hard on yourself, guys. Like, the world needs you. The world's a better place with you here. And it's just, no one has your life, so don't compare yourself to anybody else. Life sucks enough as it is.
That's a good one too. Don't compare, because that's a huge thing. Social media, everyone shows you the best of themselves. They don't show you the flaws. Yeah. So make sure that you're aware of that. Dude, I feel like this turned out to be an amazing episode to me. Like, I've learned a lot. I felt a lot. Love you even more, Logan.
I love you too, man.
You're my male lobster.
I want to make a t-shirt that says "You're my male lobster."
But everyone listening, obviously you can DM Logan, you can DM me, and we're always around and wanting to help. So appreciate you, man. Thanks for taking time to do this tonight.
Yeah, I love that. We've got some other really good episodes planned, but I like
probably going to end up doing 2 episodes, recording 2 episodes next month or next week. Just with we're going to have a couple of cool, really ESPN newscaster, and then also a doctor of psychology, and her specialty is eating disorders. And I know it doesn't sound fun, but holy crap, did I learn a lot.
Yeah, well, I think it's, the more you know, literally, because we all have people in our lives. You don't know what they might be going through, and it might help us see some signs. So absolutely.
But from here on out, we'll keep going. I don't know what.
Like, onward and upward.
It's like Michael Scott. Yeah, it's like Michael Scott. Sometimes I just keep talking and I don't know what's going to happen.
We should just start ending every episode with a Michael Scott quote.
Yeah, we should.
You missed 100% of the shots you don't take. Michael Scott, Wayne Gretzky.
I use Band-Aids and my nipples are still burning.
This is what we go from 100% serious to 100% like just bad.
No, but don't you remember he's sitting here running that little 5K and his nipples are just bleeding like crazy.
After he ate a whole plate of pasta of chicken Alfredo.
It's one of the best.
Anyways, well, we love you guys. Until next week. Wait, hold on. Dad bods and beards.
All right, goodbye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. It means the world to us. If you have a chance, please give us a 5-star review, as well as write something a little pretty in there so that we know that you know that we know that you care. Anyway, have a great day, guys. I can't do it.
I like that. You can't redo it without laughing. That was good.